First of all, I like to have a rain jacket on because you'll usually get wet doing this, and a pair of gloves. Leather gloves are all right, but if you're going to chain up a whole truck, you'll want to have a pair of rubber gloves so that your hands don't get wet. They might get a little bit cold, but they won't get wet. And then the next thing we'll do is lay the chains out, and I'll hold the chains up here so that you can see what side. And if you'll notice on these chains, the little rubber connectors, the little the piece that the bungee hooks to, you want that to be facing outside and have the one continuous rail, this top piece here, on the upside of this. And then all we're going to do is lay them over the top of the tire. Now in the back, you just barely want the chain touching the ground. We're going to roll backwards onto this chain after we get the other one set. We're going to do 2 chains at once, and normally I will do all 4 chains on a tractor at the same time. Okay, these chains are pretty well set up. The one end just touching the ground or almost touching the ground. And because it's easier to get to the front of these tires, I'm going to roll the truck back onto the chains and then connect the inside portion. So I'm going to go ahead and fire the truck up, back it up a foot or 2 here. Okay, this outside rail is not continuous. If you notice, it comes apart right here. To hook up the inside, it's easier to undo that. Now on the end is this little hook. You see that all right? We're going to put that hook down into the chain. Can you see that? How that's connected? Yep. Okay, now that that's connected on the inside, pull the slack out here, reconnect this one, and come out here. And this one here, we connect as tight as we can. Go into the second setting, not the first. And if there's still some slack, take this one up to the second setting as well, which there is. Okay, that one's ready. Then we'll come over here. Same thing on this tire. I'm going to undo this so that I have more slack on the inside. And that one's connected. I don't know if you can see that. Now that one's on the loosest setting on both. So try and pull some slack out of it and then go up to the second setting on both. And there we are. Now, the next portion is taking the rubbers, and there's 2 of them. I like to put 2 on each chain. They work a lot better if they're warm. These are kind of cold. They're a lot more flexible when they're warm. So what I like to do is put them on the defroster or the heater vent and let them warm up. This tool comes attached. Now some of the older ones have like a hook, a bar with a hook on the end that you stretch the bungee cord out with. I'll put one of these on at a time. These are quite stiff, as you can see. Then kind of do it in a plus crosswise and then crosswise this direction. much done. You can put a second set on if you like. I like to run a second set, but if you are short on parts, if one of these happens to break, these will run just fine with one set on. It's just kind of like a backup if you have a second set. Now these tires, after they make 1 or 2 revolutions, the bungee will get tighter in the center. It will suck itself in, and it will keep the tires, and the reason why we use these is because they keep the chain or the traction portion up here closer to the tire instead of flipping up and hitting the deck. These look a little bit intimidating. The first time I had to put a set on, I put 6 of them on in about 45 minutes. Just from the inside the box, you'll find a simple explanation sheet, and if you need some diagrams, there they are. That's all I had was that, but we're done. Like I said, as you drive, this rubber band will shrink to probably about a 10-inch diameter loop in the middle, and your chains are on. As you move, the slack will come out of them. Some of these might be caught in a cross rib right here, but they'll move to the tightest possible location, and you're good for 35 miles an hour top speed with these. Always run with your both windows cracked a little bit. You want them both down 1 inch or 2, so that you can hear if a cross link does break, you'll hear it come loose and you'll hear it hitting the decking. So keep your defroster or your heater on. You're probably going to build up a sweat like I am right now because I'm so fat. But keep a window open so that you can hear if a cross link breaks. And then taking them off is equally easy. Remove the bungee cords, disconnect the one end, and then pull the sides out. I'm not going to go ahead and move the truck. I'm just going to go ahead and take these off. And I'm not going to put two bungee cords on, but it's the same philosophy for putting the bungee cords on. They're simple to take off. Take that off. Come over here. Disconnect the one end. Usually have to disconnect this one too. Come back to the side, just the opposite of what you just did. This tire is not perfectly spaced. I don't have this set right, so it's a little bit harder to get off. Take the chain, pull them free from the truck as far out as you can. Now all I have to do is back the truck back up 10 feet, pull the 2 chains off, and we're done.